Welcome back. It's been revealed Attorney General Mark Dreyfus is planning a visit to Israel in a bid to mend the relationship between the two governments. That after the Israeli PM linked the firebombing of a Melbourne synagogue to what he called the Australian government's extreme anti-Israeli position. Joining us to discuss today's headlines is Independent MP Sophie Scamps and political strategist Scott Emerson. Good morning to you both. Sophie, yesterday we saw another car in Sydney's east spray painted with anti-Semitic graffiti. Do you think anti-Semitism is on the rise here?
Look, I do think we've had episodes of anti-Semitism that do need to be addressed and, crushed as soon as possible. So it's great to see that the Attorney General is going to Israel. But to link it to Australia's position on a two-state solution and ending the conflict in the Middle East, I think is a long bow to draw. So great to see that the Attorney General is going over there to show that we are supporting Israel and we do support a two-state solution. But we do need to crack down hard on this anti-Semitism at the same time. It has no place in Australia. Do
you think the government's done enough there?
I think that they were agonisingly slow to act that first time there was that anti-Semitism in Melbourne. But since then, I think that they've made the right steps and they do need to send the Attorney General to Israel to have those conversations and that dialogue. And what better person to do it than somebody who is Jewish himself and has that history of parents who are Holocaust survivors.
Scott, do you think it is right for the Attorney General to be visiting Israel?
Of course it is right, and anti-Semitism is on the rise in Australia, and it's going to be an issue in the forthcoming election in certain seats. And this is a very difficult issue for Labor. In some seats, they are struggling with the Muslim vote. In other areas, across other electorates, there's a Jewish vote out there. So Labor is walking a very difficult line at the moment, but they know they've got an issue out there, and that's why it's important for Dreyfus to be over there dealing with Israel. To try to really about the federal election coming up.
All right, well, speaking of the election, Anthony Albanese sure did hit the ground running in Queensland yesterday. The first stop in his pre-election blitz and billions in dollars for the Bruce Highway. Sophie, why doesn't he just cut to the chase and call the election already?
I wish he would. It's horribly nerve-wracking. And I think the whole country is just guessing now when it might be. But really, there's only 2 months and it's sometime between March and May. There's an election coming. Everyone get ready. Look, it's an exciting time and I really hope that it's a great election where both parties, all candidates are putting their policies on the table. So Australians have something that they know that they're voting for, not just mudslinging. But it's an exciting time.
That is a lofty ideal, Sophie. I'm not sure we're going to see quite that this election, but, I'll live to see how it goes. Scott, you're a Queenslander. No one can say that this money for the Bruce Highway isn't necessary, but coming at this time, it does have a bit of an election whiff about it.
Oh, look, I'm a former Transport Minister up here, Jane, and I love money for the Bruce Highway. It is the worst major highway in Australia. But yes, this is about an election in terms of the timing of the election. Look, the issue is, will they bring down a budget or not? A lot of talk before Christmas that Albanese could call the election sometime after January the 26th, with an election late March, early April. That talk is still out there. And the fact that there's a cash splash there from Anthony Albanese in states like Queensland gives every indication, yes, we are possibly looking at that early election and no budget being brought down.
OK, well, finally this morning, the best actors have been awarded at the Golden Globes. 62-year-old Demi Moore among them for her role in The Substance.
30 years ago, I had a producer tell me that I was a popcorn actress. And at that time, I made that mean that this wasn't something that I was allowed to have, that I could do movies that were successful, that made a lot of money, but that I couldn't be acknowledged. And I bought in and I believed that. Today, I celebrate this as a marker of my wholeness and of the love that is driving me and for the gift of doing something I love and being reminded that I do belong. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a great speech. Hey, Sophie, it's going viral. What did you make of it?
Oh, look, I just thought it was a fantastic moment. She's a woman who's been working hard at her art for 45 years. Good on her. She deserves it, and a wonderful speech. And it's just a reminder that we don't have to believe what other people's views are of us. And wonderful to see a 62-year-old woman finally get the recognition that she deserves. Fantastic.
Even though she doesn't look 62, let's face it.
No.
Sophie and Scott, thank you so much for your time this morning. Alex.
Thank you.
How good was Demi Moore in Ghost? Yes.